I'm curious because this was a global initiative. Um, when you look at things like like belonging and the things that were driving the low employee engagement scores, what were there any themes across global geographies?
Yes, the common theme was recognition. We had individuals that didn't feel that what their work was being recognized, and it wasn't shared across the board, right? So a lot of organizations, I can recognize you, Jeff, and your manager will know about it, but no one else. So we decided to have it more of recognition of people in different countries, different sales, marketing, everything, so that people truly feel that they were seen. And also that can also give opportunity. So when an individual decides to move on from their current role, they can look at opportunities, say in marketing or finance and other or sales, and they know who they are at least and say, oh, I remember Job. Like he did a great job, I heard when he did that. So that really helped with that sense of community versus it being very siloed, which a lot of global organizations unfortunately have to deal with is, the silo effect. And with that, having that also gave the individuals that were on the committee a sense of ownership, and they loved it. Like the feedback received from them alone were like they were making a difference. And even though it was a side project for them, we did ask that they work with their managers to make sure this is doable. And I did come up with I wanted to be my HR hat. I wanted to be in compliance, obviously, but I also wanted to have some a documentation that these are your expectations. These are, the timeline. And also, if they didn't meet up those expectations, well then I would have to pull you and find someone else. So I wanted to make it an actual project versus oh just let's go have fun with it and so that they can take ownership with it.
Yeah, formalizing the initiative, that's something that I would recommend as well. I also something interesting that you said there, the documentation component, but one of the things that you said that really struck me is this idea of setting expectations and then standards around what involvement looks like, what successful involvement looks like. And then maybe more importantly, having a contingency in place if people weren't able to meet those expectations. Um, when I think about successful transformation and I see organizations attempting it, that component is often missing. Let's formalize the initiative. Let's set the expectations and standards so we've got something to measure against. We've got something that we can communicate in an outward basis. I think that is phenomenally brilliant to make sure that you've got that component in place. That's really well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And also the governance, right? I think a lot of these projects or committees, no one's checking in. So we also making it standardized to have a check in because then I would go and check in with our managing director to let her know, okay, this is what's going on. Also, since I was in a global organization, letting my leaders know what we're doing here in North America. And I will have to say, Jeff, because of our efforts, we did see a significant change in our engagement scores the next quarter, which we didn't anticipate. We did have short term goals of let's see who would participate. And so many people participated because of something new and exciting and making a difference. And then our long term goal was obviously to see a change in the engagement scores. But because we were successful in that space, our chief HR officer heard about it and she sits in France and she wanted to learn more about it and if it's something that we can incorporate within the other regions in EMEA or APAC
Oh
to
yeah, and then
see
wanted to
that
to
work.
replicate and scale.
Yes.
Yeah, love that. Love that.